Hello, my name is Mick Whelan. I'm an environmental scientist at the University of Leicester, and I sit on the coordination team for the UKRI Landscape Decisions Programme. In this plenary presentation, I'd like to try and summarise the 10 talks from Theme 2 of this virtual networking event, entitled Modelling Specific Factors. Before we look at the presentations themselves, I think it'd be useful to set them into some sort of context. They're all part of the Landscape Decisions Programme, which was set up in recognition that landscapes are multifunctional entities which can deliver a range of benefits in addition to the agricultural commodities which we traditionally think of as products of the landscape. These additional benefits include things like storing water and carbon and enhancing biodiversity. If we want to maximise these benefits, then we need objective, evidence-based approaches to help us do that. Landscapes are complex, so that means we need models as frameworks to guide our decision making. This is a list of the talks in Theme 2. If you've already looked at Theme 1, you'll see that most projects in this theme have a narrower scope compared to those in Theme 1, with a particular focus on a specific ecosystem, for example, intermittent rivers, coastal dunes, or peatlands, a specific ecosystem service, or a specific aspect of environmental assessment or environmental management. Here, I've tried to identify the main topic of each project in black bold font, and also, as much as I was able to classify the approaches taken. For example, several projects are developing or applying statistical methods or models to understand a particular phenomenon or system. Some projects are applying aspects of economics or game theory, looking at costs and utility as endpoints. And these projects employ a mix of methods, some statistical, such as Andrew Bradley's project on peatland condition, which utilizes remote sensing data, and some more physically based, such as David Cameron's ammonia abatement project, at least in the first instance, although they are trying to develop a statistical emulator of the MODAS model they're using. Several of the projects have a probabilistic component, and many of them are employing Bayesian approaches. Here are the project topics and approaches again, but reordered to help group them in terms of, for example, whether they're spatially explicit, making use of spatially referenced data, and making spatially referenced predictions. For example, Andrew Bradley and Tom Smith talked about using spatially referenced remote sensing data. Some projects are aspatial, such as Michelle Kane's project on developing an alternative global warming potential metric for greenhouse gas emissions, David Cameron's project on developing a tool for mitigating ammonia emissions using tree belts, or Andrew Bates' project on the relationship between relative costs and collaboration between interacting agents. Richard Reeves' two projects on predicting plant biodiversity, together with Peter Levy's project on landscapes for sequestering carbon, and Marcel van Ooyen's project on probabilistic risk assessment for drought in forests, all make predictions on a gridded basis, but the main focus is on model development. And these two projects at the top of the slide, Kath Sefton's project on intermittent rivers and Eleni Mathieu's project on eDNA data analysis, both utilize spatially referenced data on environmental characteristics, but they don't look like they make spatially explicit predictions, although I could be wrong there, and they certainly could make spatially referenced predictions if they wanted to. All the projects in this theme have an explicit aim of enhancing decision making in some way, providing information to inform objective evaluations about the best ways to achieve one or more target outcomes. In most of the presentations, this is focused on a specific environmental system, such as Kath Sefton's intermittent rivers, Tom Smith's coastal dunes, or Andrew Bradley's peatlands. On a specific aspect of human activity, such as Andrew Bates' biosecurity schemes or farms emitting ammonia, or on a specific aspect of natural capital or ecosystem service evaluation, such as Richard Reeves' plant biodiversity or Peter Levy's carbon sequestration. However, regardless of the specific focus of their project, they're all developing or applying state-of-the-science methods and approaches which can be used in a range of different settings. For example, many employ Bayesian approaches. A key driver for the Landscape Decisions Programme is the recognition that landscapes are multifunctional. There may then be trade-offs between one desired outcome and another, as illustrated in this schematic from Jiang Xiaochu and colleagues. This was discussed more thoroughly in many of the presentations in Theme 1 of the virtual networking event, and I'd encourage you to go and look at these presentations too if you haven't already done so. In conclusion, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching this selection of presentations. There really is some exciting and insightful and ultimately useful work being done across the programme. On behalf of the programme coordination team, I'd like to thank all the speakers and their collaborators for taking the time to tell us about their projects. I'm sorry we haven't yet had a chance to meet up with you all. We hope that we can do that soon. Until then, we wish you all the best of luck with your research in the coming months.